It's Casual Tuesday. You can tell by my hat. Here we go. All right, let's start with trades that happened this week. None. No trades. This is pathetic. This league is becoming boring. I offered probably 10 trades this past week, and I don't care that no one accepted any trades. I really don't. But the fact that almost no one was even willing to come back with a counteroffer, and half of you didn't even respond to a text if I texted you an offer instead of having to go through the whole submitting it and everything like that. It's a lot easier to do it that way. It's pathetic and borderline rude. The fact of the matter is, for the most part, if your guys haven't performed thus far, then they're probably not going to. This is probably what you have. Through 6 weeks, some of you guys are just going to have to start making some moves. You got to stop having faith in some of your guys and just start pulling the trigger. And plus, that's what's fun about fantasy football: trading with each other and switching up your lineup. It's only a $10 bet that we all put in, so just get out there and make some moves. But whatever. Let's move on. So let's look at what went down week 6. Tyler versus myself. Tyler got a big boost from the Lions defense, which I loved seeing personally. But I continue to get production from Phillip Rivers. He got me 31. Ben Tate was a huge pickup for me this week. He got me 19. And Demarius is finally back to normal. I won by only 9, so it was a close game. You had Rick versus Cam. Aaron Rodgers got 31, which was good for Rick. Surprisingly, I think it was Brady that got about 38, so that was pretty surprising. But either way, Rodgers is still back to being himself. I think Brady's going to have his ups and downs, where Aaron's going to be a little bit more steady. Frank Gore, Roddy White, Ebron, Hopkins, they all got you less than 5 points apiece. Cam got a big game from DeMarco Murray and Jay Cutler, so he got a good win by about 32 points there. Can't blame Rick, though. I mean, the guy has tried everything possible to turn his team around, so good job, Rick. Kudos to you. I think your team's going to turn around. I think you have long-term plans with your team, so I think you'll start righting the ship a little bit, so be patient, but kudos to you for at least making an effort to turn the team around. Tony versus Justin. Tony started 3-0. Needed to win this week to stay above 500, but he got negative points from C.J. Spiller, only 1 point from Carlos Hyde, 1 from Cordarrelle, and none from Percy Harvin. Plus, Justin got 25 from Arian Foster, which saved him. So, Justin gets a low-scoring win, but a win nonetheless. LaShawn McCoy, Evan versus Nate. LaShawn McCoy finally does well for Evan, which is promising for him, especially with Sproles going out. That should be good for LaShawn McCoy and Evan. But Colin Kaepernick went off for 34 points. Jordan Cameron did well in his first week back. He got him 16. And the kicker, Nate's kicker, got him 17, so good win there for Nate. Jessica against Micah. This is what I call Battle of the Puppy. Lucky for Micah, we can't have a puppy in our apartment, so you get to keep Caesar for a little while still. Micah gets a good pickup in Brandon Oliver, but Matt Ryan only got him 14. Plus, Peyton, Gio, and T.I. went off for Jessica, so she got a huge 41-point win. So that was really big. Kirk versus Dave. Bad loss for Kirk. Bad loss. He gets 20 from Romo, which isn't bad considering Romo was against Seattle's defense. But Zach Stacy, Kirk's second-round pick, only got him 2 points. Wes Welker put up a goose egg. Larry Donnell, 0. Matt Asiata only got him 1. And Dave got a huge lift from Andrew Luck, just like he's been doing all season. And Forte got him 27, and that helped earn Dave blowout of the week. All right, bonehead time. This was a tough week. No one really did anything that was crazy bad or crazy dumb. I had Flacco on the bench. He got me 42, where Phillip Rivers got 31. But Phillip Rivers is the second highest scoring quarterback, so you can't really bench him. Tyler, though, I'd have to give it to you. Again, nobody really did anything that bad, but Steve Smith has been going off this season, and he really just had one bad game. Plus, you're against Tampa Bay's secondary, who is terrible. So had you played him instead of Eddie Royal, who also had a bad week last week, that would have put you within 2 of my score. And then from there, you could have had a couple of minor changes and could have possibly gotten you a win. So, Tyler, I'm going to give you Bonehead of the Week. Now we'll see where I was right and where I was wrong based on the predictions from last week. I said Dave, Cam, Justin, Evan, Jessica, and myself would all win. So I only got the Evan-Nate matchup wrong, so I will definitely take 5 out of 6 for sure. In looking at the standings, the East has 21 wins compared to the West with only 15 wins cumulatively. Micah still in first in the West, and the East has 3 people at 4-2, but we still can't catch Dave. Nobody's been able to beat him in a long time, so this is how it's shaken out so far, and obviously it'll keep panning out as the season progresses. All right, predictions for this week. Dave against Tyler. Tyler absolutely needs running back help moving forward. Really weak on running back. Dave lost Stephen Ridley, which would help Tyler. Stephen Ridley's out for the year, so Dave, if you're watching this, get rid of him. But either way, Dave's team right now is untouchable. I'm picking Dave to win. Cam against Kirk. Kirk doesn't have the wide receivers he needs to right now, so Sickingood needs running back help. Kirk needs wide receiver help. Actually, Kirk needs help in a lot of areas. Plus, DeMarco Murray is just cruising. I will say, though, that I think the Cowboys are using him too much, and I think he'll be injured before the season is over. Not this week, though, so giving Cam the win. Justin against Rick. A.J. Green is still out for Rick. Arian Foster's been super strong lately. I will say I think Ebron gets a touchdown this week, but it won't be enough. I think Justin's going to get the win. But I think Rick's team, again, they're going to progressively get better every week. I think he's on the right track once A.J. Green, a couple of his injured guys start coming back. I think Rick's going to start getting some wins. Nate against Tony. I believe both of these guys are 3-3. Nate still has a ton of injuries on his bench, but I think he'll get enough out of his guys to get the win over Tony, who's lost 3 straight as of late. Jessica against Evan. Jessica loses Darren Sproles for the next couple weeks, which hurts, but he was on a bye this week anyway, so you at least have that silver lining. Evan without LaShawn McCoy and Zach Ertz due to buys, and you can't put in Doug Martin either because he's on a bye. So that means you got to go with Chris Johnson unless you're looking to trade for a tight end, and then whatever tight end you can pick up this week. I give Jessica the win simply because Evan's going to be without some of his key guys. Myself against Micah. This is going to be close, super close. Both of us have been winning as of late. I know Micah had a loss last week, but before that he had a pretty good win streak going forward. ESPN is projecting us to have a 1-point difference in the game, only 1 point separating us. So let's look at each matchup and see how it's going. Phillip Rivers versus Russell Wilson. Phillip has been killing it, but Russell will want to redeem himself after last week, and Phillip is bound to have a bad game. Plus, Kaepernick lit up the Rams, which is who Russell is playing, so I give the nod to Micah. Alfred Morris versus Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn has been splitting carries more and more, plus Alfred's schedule finally starts looking good. The only reason he's been somewhat struggling is that they've been behind, but I think that finally starts changing, and I give the surprising nod to Alfred Morris. Ben Tate versus Brandon Oliver. No way Brandon Oliver does that again, especially against Kansas City. Ben Tate looked good, and assuming Cleveland can get the lead early on, which let's be real, it's Jacksonville, so I'm sure they can do that, I give the checkmark to Ben Tate. Demaryius Thomas versus Randall Cobb. Rodgers has been looking good, but Devontae Adams has been getting more and more looks from him, and Demaryius finally looks like his old self, which was the second best receiver last year in terms of fantasy points. I'm giving the green light to Demaryius. Keenan Allen versus Malcolm Floyd. I think Malcolm Floyd will go back to his 6 points per game way, and I think Keenan Allen will start to step it up. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet, and I don't see it really happening until after their bye week, which I'm pretty sure is week 10. So Malcolm Floyd gets the go-ahead this week. Rob Gronkowski versus Julius Thomas. I think Gronk will score a touchdown since he didn't last week, and the Jets weren't able to stop Julius last week, which is good for Gronk. Orange Julius looks really good, though, scoring over 10 points in 60% of his games this season. So, unfortunately, Julius Thomas has the upper hand in this one. On to the flex spot. Ronnie Hillman versus Terrence Williams. Although Terrence has looked really good, he's gotten less than 5 receptions in all but 1 game so far this season. Plus, Ronnie looked pretty good last week, but because both of these guys are kind of unknown, I'm giving him a push. The Cardinals defense versus the Browns defense. Browns get to play Jacksonville, which is obviously beneficial, but they haven't done a ton thus far. And Arizona's a boom or bust fantasy defense, but against the Raiders, I'll say Arizona does better. Sean Swisham versus Chandler Catanzaro? I don't know. Pittsburgh has just not been able to score, and Arizona looks really good with Carson back at quarterback. I'll give the kicking advantage to Micah. I swear I made all these predictions before looking back to see what I put at each position. I did not plan it this way, but it looks pretty even so far. Gotta pick a winner though. Gotta go with myself for the win this week over Micah. That's all I have for this week. Special thanks to Micah for giving me the suggestion of matchup of the week. And good luck to everybody except for Micah because I'm playing you this week. And have a good one, guys.